Tonight, 600 persons benefit from second edition of a RISE initiative for the elderly as governor's wife helps in respect for elders. Bill on establishment of a private electricity regulations board passes second reading. Plus, National Association of Women Journalists strategizes to combat misogyny in Akwa Ibom. We have details of this in other stories in a moment. A very good evening to you. Good to have you join us on the news at 8. I am Juliet Richard. No fewer than 600 senior citizens in Akwa Ibom received the sum of 50,000 naira each and Medicaid at the second edition of a RISE initiative for the elderly, a program set up by the state government to cushion the effects of economic hardship on aged people in the state. The second edition of the program tagged Celebrating Our Parents, held at the Government House Banquet Hall, had the wife of Akwa Ibom State Government, Pastor Patience Umaimo, who congratulated the latest beneficiaries of the scheme and assured of government's continuous support. Margaret Bassey reports. This will be brought to you in the course of the bulletin. A bill for a law to establish the Akwa Ibom Electricity Regulatory Board to manage the regulation of electricity infrastructure within the state has passed through second reading on the floor of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly. The bill, which is entitled A Bill for a Law to Make Provision for Electricity Generation, Transmission and Distribution within and for the residents of Akwa Ibom State to establish a Akwa Ibom Electricity Regulatory Board and for other matters connected therewith was sponsored by Engineer Udobia Friday Udo of Isreka, Ibom State Constituency. Our Legislative Affairs reporter, Yoko Uswa, completed the story.
While speaking of the general principles, the lead sponsor said the bill when passed will help, among other purposes, to promote policy and regulatory measures to ensure the expansion of efficient power generation, transmission and distribution capabilities in the state, while promoting the development of a competitive electricity market. The Eserekiribono lawmaker also said the bill will stimulate policies to address technology limitation and outdated infrastructure that are responsible for value chain losses in the electricity supply.
Currently, the fifth operation of the 1999 Constitution and the Electricity Act 2023 have completely decentralized the entire power sector value chain, allowing for states to freely regulate electricity activities within their territory and the presentation of this bill.
Speaking in support of the bill, the Deputy Speaker of the House, Mr. Kofi Abasedidem, and the Deputy House Leader, Mr. Otobongbo, said the bill when passed will enable the Electricity Board to take charge and distribution of electricity to Akwa Ibom and its general public.
The amended paragraph 14B, part 2 of the second schedule of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 empowers the state legislators to legislate on the electricity provision within their territory. Mr. Speaker, the advantages of this bill when passed law is number one, the state will have authority to manage and regulate our own electricity market. That Akwa Ibom has not reaped the full benefit of that government. We work on budget of the state every year. We see very next to nothing comes as revenue to the state from the power plant.
And I'm told that it's a very sad and pathetic experience we are having today in Nigeria as a whole, not just Akwa Ibom State. And with this law and the input of members of this house, I believe we'll be able to remedy that. very sad that a private company like the PHTDC is profiteering off Akwa people and Akwa money.
Speaker Udeme Otong referred the bill to the House Committee on Special Projects. Uyoko Uswa, AKBC News.
We now bring you the news on the RISE initiative. No fewer than 600 senior citizens in Akwa Ibom received the sum of 50,000 naira each and Medicare at the second edition of the RISE initiative for the elderly, a program set up by the state government to cushion the effects of economic hardship on aged people in the state. The second edition of the program tagged Celebrating Our Parents, held at the Government House Banquet Hall, Uyo, had the wife of Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Patience Umono, who congratulated the latest beneficiaries of the scheme and assured of government's continuous support. Margaret Bassi reports.
The First Lady, who was represented at the event by the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Dr. Ine Diakban, urged the beneficiaries to endeavor to be useful and impactful in the society despite impediments occasioned by old age. She cautioned persons who are in the habit of labeling elderly people with bad names to desist, as the state government will show its worth on anyone who is found guilty of such acts. Pastor Patience Eno assured that more elderly persons across the states will benefit from the program, which she described as a continuous one, as well as the dividend of the Arise agenda.
We are really very happy that you are here, and this gesture that His and Her Excellency have extended to you will be continuous. When this set goes, the next set will come. And that is the dividend of the Arise agenda that you are benefiting from.
The coordinator of the program, Mrs. Mercy Eka, explained that the initiative is tailored towards meeting the needs of the lowest of the low in the society and providing them with monthly stipends, healthcare services, and social support. Eka also noted that beyond the stipends, the program is in line with the Golden Initiative for All. GIFA, Pet Project of the Governor's Wife, is also a platform for aged people to socialize, share experience and wisdom with each other. She expressed her gratitude to the Governor's Wife as well as Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, for the initiative, which she said has put smiles on the faces of the aged persons in the state.
Aside the statement, the Arise initiative also creates a platform for the elderly citizens to interact, socialize, and share their experiences and wisdom with one another.
Goodwill messages were received from notable women in the state who expressed gratitude to the governor, Pastor Umono, and wife, Pastor Patience, for the program, which they said has accommodated the interest of the senior citizens of the state.
And today he has fulfilled his word. Government of the Golden Ball, who has done Diamond Ball, will never disappoint all of you.
And government has not failed. And because government has not failed till now, government will not fail till the end in Jesus' name. What we have seen today, we have never witnessed it.
As the beneficiaries began to receive alert notifications in the hall, their excitement was palpable as they paid long tribute to the governor and wife for the financial support and medical services which would make their lives more comfortable.
better word in Jesus Christ.
Margaret Bassey, AKBC News.
The Ministry of Agriculture has donated food inputs to persons with disabilities. The inputs include cassava cartons, maize, coconut seedlings, and dairy. The gesture was part of activities to mark the Diamond Birthday celebration of Governor Bueno. Yannipo reports that the presentation held at the Idomisimkani Secretariat.
Due to the governor's directive that gift be rather presented the less privileged and orphans, the Ministry of Agriculture gathered persons with disabilities governor's 60th birthday with them. While presenting the gift items, which were farm input and food items, the Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Fionfo, said he chose them because of their ability seen in their disability, evidenced in their zeal to plant crops of various types. Dr. Ford said for a while now, leaders of different clusters of disabilities have been visiting the ministry to ask for input to quality disposition of the Moino administration.
We have seen time and again His Excellency show that he's a compassionate government. Compassionate in the sense that he does not just see people having issues and pass by, he reaches out to them. And we have learned from him, and that's why we're gathered here this afternoon to celebrate his 60th Diamond birthday with persons living with disability. We thank you for all you are doing.
Ministry, Mrs. Mary Koite, lauded Governor Moeno for directing that the gift be taken to the destitute, describing him as selfless and compassionate.
The governor told all of us, all the commissioners, I don't want any presents. I don't want anything. If you can give people, the poor, if you can give people things, presents today because of my birthday, you go and do it. We may come about because our governor,
the governor's aides, who are members of the association, thanked the ministry for the gift and prayed for long life on the governor, whom they said has provided them over 100 plots of land and total inclusion.
We gathered here to celebrate the 60th birthday of His Excellency, the Governor of Akwa Ibom State. He's a man of the people, a compassionate father, a loving father.
Today, you have chosen to commemorate His Excellency's Diamond Birthday Day with the vulnerable community, just as he mandated. We will make good use of this input. You will see the farm. We will take you there.
I want also to use this opportunity to thank the governor for the love that he has played since inception of office. He has shown the love practically. We have never had inclusion this way before.
This shows that the governor have love and compassion for persons with disability.
The gathering later sang a birthday song for the governor.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. May the Lord God bless you. May the Lord God bless you. Hip, hip, hip. Hip, hip, hip.
Eyagino Paul, AKBC News.
And still to come, Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, NAWJ, seeks to intensify campaign against misogyny and women's stereotypes. We have details of this and other stories after the break. Do stay with us. as the gender-based discrimination and need for societal change awareness is on the increase, the Nigerian Association of Women Journalists (NAWJ) is on the move to intensify media campaign aimed at tackling misogyny and dispelling anti-women stereotypes in Akwa Ibom State. The decision was reached during a workshop on recognizing and fighting misogyny and anti-women stereotypes organized by the Commissioner for Information, Comrade Imamobon, for women journalists in the state. The workshop took place Friday at the NJ Press Center, Rome. Yours truly was then and now reports.
In her remarks, the state chairman of NAWJ, Comrade Nzika Okon, appreciated the Information Commissioner for the opportunity given to Norwegians to boost their knowledge. Comrade Okon emphasized the importance of dismantling rooted biases and fostering a more inclusive society where women are respected and empowered, and pledged NAWJ's commitment to challenge harmful perceptions and promote gender equality for social progress through media engagements.
He knows that NAWJ in Akwa Ibom State, we have been talking about violence against women, and that with the efforts of this world, whatever is going to impact in us, that is going to help us to go out there and spread to other women in the church, everywhere, even in our workplace. The violence against women that is what we will no longer tolerate.
In our presentation, the resource person, Dr. Alaida Box, who is the Grassroots Women Leaders Research Lead at the Global Institute for Women's Leadership, GIWL, and the visiting lecturer at the African Leadership Center at King's College, London, hinted that recognizing and combating misogyny and anti-women stereotypes is crucial for creating a more equitable society. Dr. Box frowned at the normalization of misogyny even in developed nations, which makes it difficult to fight the social vices.
The only way to address this is to actually have women in places where they can actually make a difference, but that they are actually also striving to make this difference. Once there is an issue, that we are taking an objective stance, and that we are taking women and the issues as priorities, and we are prioritizing the women and the issues that they face in society and not having it at the back of our minds.
Goodwill messages were received from the Commissioner for Information, Comrade Imamobon, the state chairman of Nigerian Labour Congress, Alderson James, as well as the state chairman of Nigeria Union of Journalists, Comrade Emosetu.
The thing she's going to talk about, misogyny, how to recognize and how to counter it. That this will just be, the whole idea of this is to plant a seed. What you do with that seed will belong to you. And I hope that we can now do a movement where long after she's gone, and that movement can give birth to something that will become bigger than we can ever do. Even anti-women things that I did without knowing. And therefore, in every space that I go to, the first thing I look out for is, are women here? Not just the women here, are their voices being heard? We're very empowered to say something.
There's no limit to knowledge. And therefore, when you go there, the women gather to be part. So happy to hear that it is pioneered by the commissioner who is always there for all the journalists. Thank you for the opportunity to impart knowledge to our women. And we don't let that thing that imparting knowledge. I want to thank the Honorable Commissioner for Information for driving this vision of this particular event. And I'm impressed, very impressed with the number of Norwegians that have turned out today to join us in having this beautiful session.
Participants bade their minds thus.
So the onus now lies on us, to try to counter this risk, exposing the perpetrators, not patronizing them at all. In that done, I think a lot of the things that have come to be accepted as normal in the society, people will now begin to look at them as issues that should not be tolerated.
We women should not bring down our women. We should promote our own. And I believe that we can create a society, an all-inclusive society where everybody will belong.
Well, the lecture for today is very rewarding, impacting. I've learned so much. One thing I'm taking home is that if a woman is involved in any act, we should focus more on the man, the one who is the perpetrator, not the victim.
Juliet Richard, AKBC News.
The National Biosafety Management Agency, NBMA, has assured human and environmental safety of consuming genetically codified crops and products in Nigeria. Besides, the Biosafety Agency challenged the anti-genetics products to showcase their arguments against GMOs with scientific proof. The NBMA Director General Dr. Agnes Jemisi Azabra raised the concern at the opening of two-day sensitization workshops organized for stakeholders in Kano. Azabra, who disclosed efforts of the agency to resist any acts of compromise to the agricultural and environmental safety of Nigerians, insisted that Nigeria is fortified against any harmful biotechnology products. According to her, the NBMA is leaving no stone unturned to ensure due process is followed in the regulation of biotechnology practices and the import of genetically modified organisms into the country. Azabra said the agency subjected the GMOs to rigorous risk assessments to ensure that they are safer and healthier than their conventional counterparts before approving products and foods, among other entrusted responsibilities. Earlier, the President, Nigerian Biotechnology and Biosafety Consortium of Experts, Professor Celestine Ogelmo, insisted that Nigeria requires genetically modified seeds to address food security. Apart from genetic technological intervention in agriculture, Professor Ogelmo disclosed the significant role of GMO in healthcare system and environmental practice in Nigeria, which the anti-genetics failed to challenge. He, however, worried that the practice of biotechnology has become an all-comer phrase where people of a non-professional background spread fears against products scientifically engineered. Agamu, who allied the fears being instilled on consumption of genetic recombined products, reminded that all scientific discoveries have always been in existence with man until its discovery. The Cross River government says it is set to pay compensation to property owners along the Calabar-to Highway to fast-track the implementation of the road project. Mr. Erasmus Ekman, the State Commissioner for Information, disclosed this in an interview with newsmen in Calabar weekend. Ekman said that the 400 million naira to pay the compensations. He says that the money was part of decisions reached at the State Executive Council meeting held recently. According to him, that state governments should only pay compensations to those whose property was identified on the original demolition list. He said that although it was the responsibility of the federal government to pay, the government passing to the administration chose to prioritize the welfare of the people. And that's the size of our package this night. But before we go, another look at the major story. No fewer than 600 senior citizens in Akwa Ibom received the sum of 50,000 naira each in Medicaid at the second edition of a RISE initiative for the elderly. a program set up by the state government to cushion the effects of economic hardship on aged people in the state. The second edition of the program, tagged Celebrating Our Parents, held at the Government House Banquet Hall in Uyo, had the wife of the Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Patience Onwenu, who congratulated the latest beneficiary of the scheme and assured of government's continuous support. The bill for a law to establish the Akwa Ibom Electricity Regulatory Board to man the regulation of electricity infrastructure within the state has passed through second reading on the floor of the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly. The bill, which is entitled A Bill for a Law to Make Provision for Electricity Generation, Transmission and Distribution within and for the residents of Akwa Ibom State to establish Akwa Ibom Electricity Regulatory Board and for the other matters connected therewith, was sponsored by Engineer Udobia Friday Udowa of Esreka Ibom. It's like Ibom State constituency, I beg your pardon. Plus, the Ministry of Agriculture has presented farm inputs to physically challenged persons. They include cassava cuttings, maize, and coconut seedlings and foodstuff. That's all we have for you tonight. I really appreciate your company. I am Juliet Richardson. Do have a good night's rest.